Well, good afternoon. PK here. Living out of the box. Come on, look at this day. If you can see behind me, maybe you're able to see. Who knows? I'm here in Sofia, Bulgaria. If you don't know, my wife and I on a 6-week break. Of course, I have a lot of downtime. I've been here for about a week. I used to live here 12 years, for you who you don't know. And, of course, I have a lot, because I have so much time, I keep coming up with things to talk about, and not only that, people ask me questions. And one of the questions I get all the time is they say, hey, PK, what stocks are you following? Even though you're a futures trader. And this is really the name of the show. So the question is, what stocks am I following even though I'm a futures trader? For out of the box episode here from Bulgaria. Remember, in the pandemic, I think I was the only American in that empty Frankfurt airport. And now here in Bulgaria, wishing that they'll open soon, but who knows when. Everything is crazy in the world right now. Let's see. Anyway, so the answer is, what stocks do I follow? Even though I trade, remember, I trade a lot of index futures, the S&P index, S&P futures, the Dow, and the NASDAQ. But I do have stocks up, but only a handful, just to give me kind of an overall feel to see, are there any clues? Are there any clues that can give me some tips along the way? Some directional clues. So I follow Apple. I follow the GLD for the gold. I follow Amazon. I look at Peloton. I look at GS, Goldman Sachs. Of course, Facebook. And recently, I put up Coinbase since I came online because I want to see what's going on with that stock, with the crypto. These stocks really gonna move. And this ARK, the woman with the glasses, Kathy Wood, who's the big star. Remember, she's my age now, but I do respect her. She did reach. She's number one. She's at the top of her game. In my eyes, she deserves it. So, what I want to say is, okay, so I have these stocks up, and I like just to comment, it's like, what makes it hard to get the direction? Sometimes you see these NASDAQ stocks go down, the Dow stocks, in fact, we've been in that period recently. The NASDAQ is dropping, the NASDAQ stocks have been dropping, and the Dow stocks have been strong. When you have this divergence like this, it makes the trading very difficult because it can't be this way. It can only stay this way temporarily. They have to come together. But the question is, should we be going along the NASDAQ, like buying those NASDAQ stocks, or the reverse, buying the Dow stocks, or buy, sell, or doing some sort of a spread, if you're that sophisticated of a trader. And so what I want to say is that when you see the three indexes, I call it a mishmash. It's a mishmash trading. This is really what it is. It's very difficult for me to get too excited about it unless I see something very clear. Remember, I'm going for 1 to 4 days, but this is something, the stocks can help you. Of course, that's why you need to get a range of NASDAQ stocks, look at some Dow stocks. S&P, we know, is kind of in the middle. And so the question is, PK, what are the clues? What are those clues that we can look for that will help us? I'll tell you one of the great clues for long-term direction, not for any one given day. I forget, I got 35 years, more than 35 years. I started in 82. In fact, I happened to be working in my second job at Bear Stearns the very first day the S&P stock index futures started trading at the Mercantile Exchange. And we all know what happened to that. That turned into one of the biggest contracts ever. In fact, I thought the Bitcoin was going to be like that too, but it turned out it wasn't. And one of that clue is, you're going to find, you go back in history, and I found this to be a very good indicator of long-term direction, which is the NASDAQ leads the way up and leads the way down. And of course, it's a generalization, because like now, the NASDAQ has been weak the last 2 weeks, and the Dow's been here. So, that's why it's more difficult. You can say, okay, I would think, to me, the NASDAQ's leading the way down, and the other ones are going to come down. They're going to roll over. Yeah, we've had, the last time we had this situation, the NASDAQ turned around and took over the lead again. So remember, you'll hear me say trading stocks or trading futures. Remember, you guys, this is not a science project. If it was that easy and all these things worked, or they worked, believe me, even if they worked 60% of the time, we'd all be sitting home in our shorts and be zillionaires. Okay, now, sitting in the shorts, I don't know if you can see me, but I'm no zillionaire. It's a lot of work whether you trade stocks or trade futures. Anyway, so this is something to look for. Remember, the NASDAQ leads the way up. Remember, on this big market rally up for the last 10 years, the NASDAQ is the strong one. Technology stocks, Amazon, look what even happened during the crisis. Look what turned around all these tech stocks. So this leads the way up and leads the way down. So for me, that's how I'm reading it. We're going down. NASDAQ looks weak. Number two, what else is a powerful clue? I would tell you this. When you see all the financials around this, they're all up there. See, it's kind of like that same thing with the stock index futures or different stocks. When you see them all together, like the euro is, or the dollar is weak, the gold is, what should be? The gold should be up there. The euro should be strong. You see all the financials at the same level, and vice versa. This to me is very powerful. A lot of the times it's a mishmash. Some are up here, some are down there, some are here, some are there. But when they all come together, this to me says, wow, you better look out, something major is about to happen. You can say, what direction, PK? Well, remember, there's no real right answer. Just know that they're together, and it depends what your outlook is. If you're depends. Remember, you can always make an argument whether to go long or short. I can make an argument every day, whether you're a day trader or a week trader like me, swing trader, or you're a long-term stock trader. It doesn't really matter. Because remember, there's always someone taking the other side of your trade who thinks the opposite of you. The only difference is their time frame might be different. But still, this is something you need to consider. As when you see them all together, this is another big clue. And finally, which is one of my favorites, and this is very good for the short-term trading. In fact, even for you day traders. You talk about the futures. We'll talk about the futures too. These government reports are the only things that I trust. I say I trust. I don't even read. I don't really care what the number is. I think I did a video about this. Trading the news is about the reaction to the news. And you can see, you have all these economic calendars that tell you exactly the time. The big reports, the non-farm payrolls, unemployment, the Fed meeting in the afternoon. These are opportunities when they come in, much better than expected or much worse than expected. When it comes close, forget about it. There's no trade there. But what you want to look for is an abnormal reaction. This could be, if you're a day trader, this could give you I think this is one of the strongest of all signals. Because remember, you need some fundamental news to make that market move. I'm not talking about a squeeze like what happened in the GameStop or that silver run for $3. And that's why I think following these government reports can really give you some clues once in a while. There's a real great trade to be made there, and it's usually for the short term. Because remember, the reports curve. Some are lagging and behind the lagging indicators. So this is the problem, as you see, whether you listen to the news. That's why I never read the news. I don't care what the news is. Well, of course, I'm short term, but I'm 1 to 4 days. But even if it's a long term, the news can change. So again, one of the sayings I have is I recommend this for all of you: trade what you see, not what you think, not what the others think. Sounds easy. But it's not so easy, especially when we're bombarded with so much information. So I think that's really pretty much it. And one thing about the stock traders, the big opportunity regarding the news, of course, how those quarterly earnings reports. There is this great strategy. I'll probably do a video just on that, about how you can minimize. You can take. You really can make a lot of money on those earnings reports, but it's not by buying the stock. It's by using options and how to do it and what to do, and this is the way to do it. If you take a position in any stock, Apple for instance, that day of the report the night before it comes out, I mean, this big time gambling. As I think I mentioned before, you're better off buying a scratch off ticket, because at least you can say, hey, it's a $5 ticket, a $10 ticket, and maybe it's $1 million to 1 of winning, $3 million to 1, but at least you can't lose more than $5 or $10, whatever you're buying. But you buy that stock before an earnings report, and the earnings, remember, come when the market's closed, you're on the wrong side. You say, hey, I want to risk $500, you lose $3,000, $5,000. It's just on some small position. So this is one of the common mistakes. So again, to summarize, I'm always drifting off topic, as you can see, is, what stocks, I mentioned the stocks that I follow. They do give some clues, but you should have kind of a diversified. You might have your own stock list. Best thing to do is have a few NASDAQ stocks, a few Dow stocks, and a few in the S&P. And just to give you an overall rate if you're a stock trader to see what's happening. Of course, you can make it easier like I do. I just have the 3 indexes up because I'm trading the 3 stock index futures. So, and this is where we're at right now. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, this PK here, it's warming up. I'm actually sweating believe it or not, I live in Florida, my wife and I, and it was 85, 90 degrees, and now I'm sitting on the patio out here. Out in Bulgaria, it's like 70, maybe 71 degrees. Grateful to be here. I pray that they're going to open up, because I'm lonely here. PK's lonely. There's no other Americans, and I'll tell you, it's a very strange feeling. Yes, the traveling is easier in terms of no crowds at the airport, but it just doesn't feel right. The whole experience is off. Yes, in Europe, I was here last summer, and going to Greece, and it's a great time. Europe is much different. The vibe, the daily vibe is much different than what's happening for us in America. I don't care what state you live in, a blue state, a red state. There's still this very heavy, tension is the word I'm looking for. There's a lot of tension in these things, and you don't feel that here. So anyway, I wish everyone a great day. This PK with another episode of Out of the Box. I can't even see. Maybe the sun's blocked this whole shot out. Remember, always live out of the box when you can, and make up your own mind. Please. You don't have to listen to anybody, including me. Ciao, everybody.